SE, again, the question that Brianna asked, I think, is the right one. It's sort of now now that anti-abortion activists got what they wanted, right, which is to overturn Roe versus Wade, what happens now politically, do you think?
It's hard to imagine the Republican Party surviving this. Between anti-abortion, anti-LGBTQ, book banning, anti-democracy, I mean, add all of the regressive bullshit, garbage, to this. I don't take that back. Add it all together, and I don't know who's left in the future generations to be drawn to this party. If you look back at 2016,
that is the clueless radical leftist SE Cupp predicting over the weekend that the GOP is going to be hemorrhaging voters, only to find out from the AP this morning more than 1 million voters have switched to the GOP in an ominous warning for the Democrats. Talk about being out of touch. Well, what else would you expect from CNN? We're going to take a look at this massive political shift to the right. We're going to see how it squares with a Gallup poll that also shows the Democrats are hemorrhaging voters. And make sure to stick with me at the very end of this video when I'll reveal the latest predictive model and its projection for precisely how many seats the Democrats will lose in the upcoming midterms. You are not going to want to miss this. Greetings, patriots all across the globe. Dr. Steve here with you, your patriot professor, helping to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. So make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. And for all of you gold and silver patriots out there, you know who you are. You love the timeless values, silver and gold, particularly in this insane economy. Well, a huge shout out from our good friends over at Goldco. You apparently have been ringing their phones off the hook, and they couldn't be more excited to serve their fellow patriots. If you don't know them, gang, make sure to click on that link below and give them a visit. Goldco is a Patriot Gold company that specializes in helping you find out how you could protect your retirement with the trustworthiness of gold and silver. And, you know, they're so awesome. They want you to succeed so much that they're going to give you, get this, up to $10,000 in free silver when you open up an account with them. They're one of us, gang. They're absolutely amazing, but it is a limited time offer, so don't wait. Click on that link below or go to turleytalkslikesgold.com and let's keep those phones ringing off the hook. All right, let's dive right in here, gang. You know, first, the Democrats lost gun control. The decision early last week from the Supreme Court that shot down, no pun intended, the New York's draconian gun control law effectively reversed the vast majority of gun control laws across the nation. So first, they lost any possibility of real gun control measures for the foreseeable future. Then they lost the unthinkable, the unfathomable. They lost their most precious, sacred, treasured Supreme Court accomplishment, Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade and its counterpart, Casey, are officially dead. They're dead, they're buried, they're never going to resurrect again. So they lost on guns, they lost on abortion, and now, on top of that nightmare, the Democrats are losing voters. It is official. The AP is reporting, as of this morning, that the Democrats are a shrinking party. Quote, a political shift is beginning to take hold across the U.S. as tens of thousands of suburban swing voters who help fuel the Democrat Party's gains in recent years are becoming Republicans. More than 1 million voters across 43 states have switched to the Republican Party over the last year, according to voter registration data analyzed by the Associated Press. The previously unreported number reflects a phenomenon that's playing out in virtually every region of the country. Democratic and Republican states, along with cities and small towns, in the period since President Joe Biden replaced former President Donald Trump. But nowhere is the shift more pronounced and dangerous for Democrats than in the suburbs, where well-educated swing voters who turned against Trump's Republican Party in recent years appear to be swinging back. Over the last year, far more people are switching to the GOP across suburban counties from Denver to Atlanta and Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Republicans also gained ground in counties around medium-sized cities such as Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Raleigh, North Carolina, Augusta, Georgia, and Des Moines, Iowa. And the piece, of course, goes on to detail how Democrats are utterly panicking over these numbers. They see this as the latest ominous sign for what's to come in the midterms. Now, this AP report is actually not the first one that we've seen in terms of this massive political shift away from the Democrats and towards Republicans. A Gallup survey was released some months back that showed a dramatic shift in political preferences occurring in the American electorate throughout the year of 2021. And the upshot of it all is that the Democrats began the year with a 9-point advantage over Republicans. 49% of the electorate identified as Democrats, while only 40% identified as Republicans. It was the highest lead for the Democrats since the fourth quarter of 2012. But now, according to Gallup, that party identification gap has completely reversed. Now the Republicans lead Democrats in terms of party identification 47 to 42%. So in short, Democrats dropped in support by 7 points, while Republicans gained in support by 7 points, representing an overall 14-point shift in party affiliation. So here's how Gallup is interpreting the findings. Quote, both the 9-point Democrat advantage in the first quarter and the 5-point Republican edge in the fourth quarter are among the largest Gallup has measured for each party in any quarter since it began regularly measuring party identification leaning in 1991. The year 2021 was an eventful one in politics after a similarly eventful 2022 also saw major shifts in party preferences. In early 2021, Democratic strength reached levels not seen in nearly a decade. By the third quarter, those Democratic gains evaporated as Biden's job approval declined. The political winds continued to become more favorable to Republicans in the fourth quarter, giving the GOP an advantage over Democrats larger than any they had achieved in more than 25 years. And so right now, according to Gallup, and now corroborated by the AP study showing millions of voters switching to the GOP right now, the Republicans have an advantage over the Democrats not seen in a generation, 25 years. It's an astonishing development. CNN is clueless on it. And the disaster that this threatens for the Democrats in November is almost beyond imagining at this point. The latest to try to predict what the damage is going to be is coming from Qantas polls that looks at Gallup's predictors for historical midterm outcomes. They give what you might call 4 indices, right? Presidential approval, congressional approval, U.S. satisfaction, which I'm seeing as right track, wrong track polls, and economic conditions. So this is a bit different from the grid that Richard Barris of the People's Pundit, his predictive indicators, which are primarily 2. Bottom line, the best predictive indicators for how a midterm is going to happen is right track, wrong track polls, and presidential approval. This Gallup analysis adds congressional approval and overall economic conditions. So, for example, they've got the 4 indicators lined up to show what led to Obama's 2010 loss of 63 seats in the House, or Bush's loss of 30 seats in the 2006 midterms, or Clinton's loss of 53 seats in the 1994 Gingrich Revolution. And so what this analysis does is it created a weighting scoring system to create a cumulative number to predict how many seats the Democrats will lose in November. You ready for the number? Well, first, we obviously can't say everything that needs to be said about politically correct, sensitive issues on most social media platforms like YouTube. And so that's why you need to become a Turley Talks Insiders Club member. Every Monday night, we got a live Q&A with yours truly, as well as some special guests like Mike Lindell and Sebastian Gorka. And you get to ask your questions. We talk about everything and anything without any worry of cancel culture. So make sure to click on that link below and sign up to be an Insiders Club member for less than the price of a cup of coffee per day. And I cannot wait to see you live on Monday nights. All right, so here we go. Here's the conservative prediction. Using Gallup's numbers, Qantas Polls is predicting a GOP pickup of 53 seats. So this would be a 1994 Gingrich Revolution landslide in November. However, with some inflation numbers added to the mix, they predict that pickup could exceed 66 seats, which would be one of the biggest midterm blowouts ever since 1894, when the Democrats lost over 100 seats. Interestingly, Steve Bannon is predicting just that. He's predicting the Republicans are going to win upwards of 100 seats in November. So obviously, well, keep an eye on how things develop here. But the latest numbers all show one picture. With the fall of gun control, the fall of Roe v. Wade, and now with the loss of their very own voters, the Democrats are quite literally losing everything. Now, before you go, you will definitely want to check out my latest video I just uploaded over the weekend on woke leftists having a complete meltdown as abortion clinics close across the nation. You're not going to want to miss it, so make sure to click on that link, and I will see you over there. God bless.